The following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Today's gardener was farm-raised, and her skills are very apparent. If you're a gardener, this episode will treat you to the best of both worlds. A never-ending floral display. Seeing is definitely believing for this truly magnificent display. But not to be outdone is her mini farm. So sit back and enjoy the view. Good morning. Welcome to another episode of Beyond the Garden Gate. Today we're in the garden of Kathie Martin, and believe me, I've been doing this show now for 3 years, and this is beyond a doubt the most colorful garden I have ever seen. Kathie, where do you get the energy to plant all of this?
I think I was born with it.
Oh, really?
I grew up on a farm, so.
Oh, so you're a farm girl, huh? Well,
yep.
You certainly know how to grow things, that's for sure.
I get that from my mother, although I did no gardening as a teenager whatsoever, other than I started with daffodils, and I would go down, I lived in the South, and we'd go visit Eva, and she had flowers that I would gather the seeds, and I would go plant those.
Nice.
So that's about it.
Very nice. Well, you've got certainly do have a green thumb. I love this blue over here. What is this?
Okay, you're going to ask me that, and I'm not going to know the name, but it makes an excellent dry flower, I can tell you that. Oh my goodness.
Is it some type of an everlasting?
It's a perennial. It's definitely a perennial. I've had that probably for 15 years.
Wow.
And you can divide it up. But I did have another bush that died, but it's pretty hardy for the most part. Yeah. Winter's over.
I'd like to take a walk over to that side of the garden where that beautiful begonia border is. It's forever. It goes on forever. So we'll just take a second and we'll take a walk over there.
Okay, all right.
Well, let's take a walk down this beautiful pink and red path of begonias. This is magnificent. How many begonias did you have to buy for this border?
It's 25 trays, and each tray has six packs in it. So that's how many that
I don't know. I need a calculator for that. But you have a double row, I see.
Yeah, and I do it in a triangle formation. You'll see white, pink, red, white, pink, red. So, and I try to do a lot of white because when you're in amongst trees, you want that brightness to show.
It really pops it.
Yeah, and so the white, I think, really makes it pop.
But your choice of astilbe, the colors are magnificent, the red and the white.
Yeah, if you come around the 4th of July, that's when the astilbe is really in show. And it blends right in with the 4th of July because we have the white and the red, you know, that goes right with the 4th.
It's beautiful. Now, you're heavily wooded here.
Yes.
You must have a significant amount of wildlife.
Do we ever? Yes. These hosta, the deer love.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a constant battle. My main weapon is dry blood that you buy, and I sprinkle it. But if it rains, you have to be out here again sprinkling it, or else they will. Another one is hot sauce. I sprinkle with hot sauce. but it's a constant battle. And I'm out here constantly, mostly after the sprinklers hit them. That's another thing you got to watch out, is the sprinklers will wash everything away.
Wow.
And they will come out in daylight to graze if they want something enough.
If they're hungry, they'll come out, right? It's just magnificent. Well, this is beautiful out here, but we're going to take a walk to the backyard now and wait till you see what's ahead, what's coming ahead for that. It's out of this world. Well, we're slowly working our way into the backyard, and this is just a sample of what you're going to see. The colors are absolutely phenomenal. I love your choice of colors. You love the reds, don't you?
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
They're great.
Yeah, we have the bee balm that the hummingbirds, I love it because the hummingbirds love it, and I love hummingbirds. And the coleuses, and they will get taller, but I think they blend nicely in here.
They do.
The colors.
That's a beautiful shade of red on that coleus.
It's called lipstick coleus.
Oh, nice.
That's the name, so I'm sure it came from lipstick, you know, the lips.
Very nice. And you've got a couple of bees swarming around.
Yes,
Yeah.
love the bees.
Be careful, Claire. There's bees here.
In here, too, you'll notice that there's the frame to a grinding wheel, and you'll see the grinding wheel over on the other side, but I put that in for a little interest.
Very nice. Okay, well, now we can start walking.
Okay.
Kathie, this must be your begonia garden. But these are not the tuberous begonias.
Yes, they
Oh,
are.
these are the tuberous, but
These
what are
are
the other ones? A wax
Begonia.
Okay.
And these are the tubers. They're one of my favorite flowers, and they're you notice you can float them. They make wonderful when you bring them inside and you're cooking or something and you need something for your table. You can put them in a glass dish and just
let them float them. Yeah.
Very colorful.
Now, do you bring these in and winter the bulbs over?
No.
No. That's a lot of work.
It is. It is. This year, you know, you have to look at each year, and I never have problems growing wax begonias, but they haven't really grown to their potential. And I think it's been the fluctuating temperature, and it's really been cold too. And I noticed yesterday when I was out here, on the bottom of a blossom was a slug.
Uh-oh.
Now, I never did think, I've never had a problem with slugs or snails eating wax begonias, but I guess they do. And so I might have to get out here, and I put snail bait out. Or a cheap way of doing it is you can take beer and you can put it in a saucer and lay it down, and they will crawl into it.
Yeah. Or if you put something gritty down into the soil, they don't like to crawl over the gritty things. But you do have some bark mulch down here, so that should be a deterrent.
Yeah, so I don't know where this came from or what, but it did. And there's lobelia that used to be around, but
There's a little bit right
here.
here.
When it gets hot, it dies down and
It does,
disappears.
yeah.
And it's gone. And these hosta that are here, they just popped up.
Really?
Yeah. And I have columbine that pops up. That's a lot of this stuff.
The columbine is almost like a weed. It really self-sows,
It
you know.
does. It does. And there's an astilbe. I don't know how it ended up over here too, but it did. But
Yeah.
they don't belong.
The colors are, again, they're so beautiful. So, and we have another garden right over here, and not as colorful as this, but it's just lovely. I love all the different textures, and you've got ferns and hostas.
Different shades of hostas, different heights. There's a couple of azaleas in the back that bloom a bright orange in spring.
Oh, pretty.
Orangey red. But this is basically blooms all year long. There's something in there blooming. And one of my favorite is the gigantic hostas, but I like the variegated hostas. There's some that have a cream edge, there's some that have a white edge, and then I have the limey greenhouses that make certain things pop. Some of them get overtaken, you know, some...
They do have to be separated every few years.
Oh yeah, and the fern, if you see the fern, it's kind of overtaking. But what you don't notice in this flower bed there are stumps that must be a yard at least.
From all the trees you've taken down.
Out. And it's hidden totally.
Nice.
But you can hide them that way.
And tell me about this piece of sculpture you have.
It's a windmill, and it does, we have no wind today, but it does turn, and it's fun. Birds like to land on it, and then they go around.
Now, was that from a local artisan, or?
Actually, this came from Costco.
Oh, for goodness
And,
sakes.
I know on the Cape, there's, if you go down 6A, there's they have these beautiful windmills that you can buy that they make there, and that's where I wanted one, and I just happened to see this one at Costco, and I've had it for about 3 years.
It's lovely.
Yeah.
Okay, now there's a corner of the garden over here that's really beckoning me, and it's your fire pit. It looks lovely from here, so let's get close up and friendly.
Okay.
Well, Kathie, I'm set for the day. I don't know about you. What a beautiful spot.
It's relaxing.
Now, is this a wood fire pit, or is it
Yeah,
gas?
It's wood. It's wood. And I can actually burn here because it's, you have to have it so many feet away from your house.
And your
if it has a
neighbors.
screen, then you can burn without a permit. But if it's closer to your house, you do have to go to the fire department to get a permit to burn. Yeah,
So-
and this used to be a pond at one time, and the hip pole that's right back here used to be like a waterfall into it, along with another waterfall.
Oh, neat.
And I had to have rotator cuff surgery with my shoulder, so I decided I needed to cut back. So I decided I couldn't live without the pond, so I put a fire pit in to take its place. And
You were going to cut back, so all you did was get rid of the pond? Oh my gosh. I would have had to have gotten, I mean, when I said I cut back my garden, I got rid of half of it.
yeah, having the pond was like having a pool. And I love the water plants and the water lilies, and it was just beautiful with all the grasses and the fish and the frogs.
But they are a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
How deep was it?
I could tell you that when I walked to the center point, it came up to my waist. And like a pool, I would cover it for the winter. And in October, it does get cold. The water does. And then in spring, you would have to uncover it, and I'd have to get in the pond itself to do it.
Ooh, that must have been chilly.
Chilly, yeah. And you had to cut the plants back, because if you cut the plants back in the fall, you don't get all that slime in the water in the spring. So I think cleaning up is an important part when you have a pond.
Did you have koi in the pond?
Oh yes. The koi do not winter over, so I would have to catch them in the fall, and I would bring them into the basement, into a big tank in the basement where they'd stay for the winter. And then in spring I'd bring them back out to the water. And when I did build the pond, I did it on 3 levels so that animals couldn't get to the koi. They couldn't catch them, and because raccoons, if you don't do that, can come and they'll catch them and eat them. Heron also will come.
I was going to say, because you have a bog very close here. You probably get some heron.
They never did actually bother the fish. Now why, I don't know.
Well, it could have been the canopy of the trees.
Yeah, something kept them away. We also have bear that walk through here, but they never bothered the fish, too. They bothered the bird feeders, but not the fish.
Yeah, yeah. So, well, I could sit here forever. This would be a lovely spot to have your evening cocktail and cheese and crackers, and be very, very lovely. But we passed something on the way in, and we've got to walk back to the front to see this magnificent vegetable garden. So if you could pry me out of this chair, we can walk towards the front.
All right.
Well, let's take a walk through your garden. You lead the way.
Okay, we're going to go through the rhubarb.
The rhubarb, and what is this? Oregano?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes, this winter's over with no problem. And then I have a row of flowers mainly for cutting to bring in the house. And I have the pink zinnias right now, lots of snapdragons. And the asters are just beginning to open up right here.
Nice.
And then over here, which you probably can't see, is the peppers and the eggplants and a basil plant.
Oh, that's my favorite, the basil with tomatoes.
Nothing like a cucumber off the vine.
Oh.
I love the pickling cucumbers. And then the green beans haven't come in yet, and you can tell where the deer got a hold of one of them. And then I have squash and zucchini here. These plants get enormous. And I don't care how much room you leave for them, it's never enough.
Like watermelon.
Yeah, they just take over. And then over in this section is the tomato plants that usually the chipmunks get the bottom parts right when they're turning ripe. As you see the tomatoes, they'll get those, but usually the top ones are left for me. So they have enough for the chipmunks and enough for us to eat. And
Do you
then
do
over
canning?
here,
Do you do canning?
I used to, I don't anymore. I try and give everything away if I have extra, because everything you get today you can get fresh and stuff.
Yes, yes.
And then over here is raspberries, although I think it's 20 quarts of raspberries.
Wow.
My daughter was good enough to come pick all of them for me. Okay, and over here is cilantro. And this goes to seed. I let it go to seed because it will reseed itself, and I don't, I'll have it all next year too. Snow peas. And over here is my Swiss chard that the deer got a hold of.
They sure did.
And the deer deterrent didn't work here. And I have radishes over here, and carrots, potatoes, and lovage. Have you ever heard of lovage?
I have. I think they make a tea out of it, don't they?
It's celery type flavor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so, and it winter's over. I didn't realize it did. I planted it out last year and it wintered over, so it comes back.
Wonderful.
So we'll see if it comes back again next year.
I'm looking for a nice ripe raspberry.
Oh yeah, look and you will find. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
They are delicious. Yum, yum. Wow, this is quite a space you have. It's just glorious. Well, I think that about does it. I think we've covered almost all of your garden.
Well, let's go back to the back and you can see the back half of the garden.
Oh my goodness, we missed something. Okay, let's take a walk back again.
Okay, and this, I let the dill seed itself. And then when you walk through here, you get that little fragrance.
Oh, it's lovely, lovely.
This is an example of not the deer. No matter what you do, they still eat. So you notice it looks like a French poodle. It's been carved by nature by the deer. So I have the top. Maybe I'll have some green beans up here. This, well, maybe, I don't know what's going to happen, but they got a hold of this. And then we were talking about lovage. This is the lovage plant right here. And it's similar to celery. You can use it like celery. Over here is a kale that I let go to seed. The kale will reseed itself. I don't have to plant it next year. And you can actually eat the flowers too on it. And you can actually still eat the leaves. Very hardy.
Okay. Wow. I'm impressed. I am really impressed. Everywhere we turned, there was another feast for the eyes. With such a tranquil environment, even the birds are at home here. Is this going to be our final stop? I think so. There's just so much to see in so little time, but I think this is going to be our farewell to your beautiful, beautiful garden. I love the blue. You don't see enough blue in gardens, and I like to see it when it's there. It really does pop.
Mostly with yellow, too. I think
Absolutely.
Contrast.
Yes, very, very nice. Well, thank you so very much. This has been quite a treat.
Well, thank you.
And I hope our audience enjoys it as much as we did being here. And thank you to Mother Nature. It wasn't sweltering hot, and it was a lovely day. Thanks again for joining us, and hope you join us again real soon. Bye for now.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.